Hi, my name is Samantha, and today we'll be discussing about my study, which is ethnicity and sports, and if the two are related or not. So, a brief background or introduction. Majority companies like the National Basketball Association, National Football League, and the National Hockey League try to market specifically tailored toward their audience. Studies in the past have been done that focus more on how companies try to advertise their product during major sporting events rather than these three big companies, NBA, NHL, and NFL, marketing towards their teams and their teams playing or games that are being shown towards the audiences who watch on TV or have posters around. So the reason kind of why I wanted to do this was because I've always watched basketball games, but I recently got into football and started watching hockey, but I would never really see advertisements shown for these games that you can attend them in person, you can buy tickets. I would always kind of just pop up. It would always just pop up whenever I was watching something or just scrolled through. So I wanted to kind of see what was the main reason for people watching sports, and would they actually pay money to see these things or find different alternatives to watch them. Kind of how it stemmed up a lot was that my parents, they would only get into football just because of Super Bowl. And the main reason that they wanted to watch Super Bowl was to see who was performing that night rather than the actual game that was taking place. So the NFL kind of created a interesting concept to attract kids to become football fans by using outlets like Nickelodeon and NFL Rush to attract them, to learn more about the sport, to kind of understand how to play the game. So the point of the study was to examine which sport outlet most people prefer to watch based on ethnicity, and it focused on the consumption of sport, the geography of where events were being held, and the reasonings for watching the said sport. So the hypothesis that was created was basically basketball and football are the two sports most people prefer to watch. Most people would not attend games in person because there are different means. And most people would watch the sport because their favorite team was playing. So the methods that were created was that the participants selected for the study needed to be 18 years or older, have had a minimum a part-time job, some knowledge of the sport that were selected, and have attended or are currently attending college. Questions that were asked focused on gender, ethnicity, and occupation in order to have a diverse group of people in the study. And we also it was also needed to know that if participants, whether they lived inside the United States or if they lived outside the United States, to see if the sports that were focused on in this study were shown internationally. And if the participants met these criteria, they were given a survey through Facebook or through via email just for a faster widespread to get the survey done. So the survey consisted of 20 questions in total. It focused on 5 demographic questions and 15 construct questions that solely focused on the consumption, the geography, and factors that influence revenue. So the results that were found for why was that the sports that was watched more often was actually basketball. And population, specifically the Asian Pacific Islander and the Black and African American, they prefer to watch basketball rather than football or hockey. However, the Hispanic Latinos and the people who answered white preferred to watch football over the other two. And there's an other there as well, but also preferred to watch basketball rather than hockey or football. So across all the groups, not many people prefer to watch hockey. They prefer to mainly watch basketball. The next in the results was shown why people didn't attend games in person. And many of the participants did not attend games because of money. So Asian Pacific Islanders and Hispanic Latinos said that that was their main reason. So that was in the red. If looking at the next one, the next thing that most people said they didn't want to attend games because they weren't interested, which is highlighted in orange. And the last one is like most people didn't want to attend games. In the green was because there's other alternatives like Facebook, live streaming on Facebook, keeping scores on the internet, or just kind of watching it through TV or YouTube. And the last one that the results focused mostly on was, why do people watch the game? Most of the participants watched because they love the game that they're watching, whether it's basketball, football, or hockey. They didn't watch it for anything else, really. So that was highlighted in the green. In the red, a lot of people said that it was because their favorite team was playing, and a very small number only watched it for the commercials. We could assume that these people only watched games like football during Super Bowl. So the limitations in the study were that majority of the participants were Asian Pacific Islanders, and most of the participants only lived in the United States, and that the sports that were listed only tailored towards American and Canadian population. So what future researchers could do is try to find a more diverse group of participants, so focus more on Caucasians and African Americans or Hispanic Latinos, and also have a survey that also tailored towards multi-ethnic groups. Another thing is that since this was solely, most participants lived in the United States, to find a way to give the survey towards other countries, but also have sports that most of the other countries would know. In conclusion, the main goal was to determine which sport was the most popular amongst fans and if they would spend money to attend sporting games. Most people preferred to watch games, specifically basketball games, rather than hockey or football. Most of the participants wanted to watch the game for the love of the game and for their favorite team that was playing, rather than anything else than like commercials or something like that. And lastly, many of the participants do not attend games in person due to the cost of a ticket, meaning that they would prefer to watch it online, on TV, or go to a bar and restaurant with their friends and watch it there. So this basically kind of proves that there's a lot more work to do for all three of these companies to gain more fans and more people to kind of market out to everyone else. Thank you.